Okay, so welcome. I want to talk about a little bit about what happened to Samsung in the mid 2000s because something very interesting happened to Samsung in the mid 2000s. If you remember the Samsung of about 10, 12 years ago, then you know that Samsung wasn't the kind of company that it is today. Samsung at the time was a manufacturer of household electrical items, like household items like microwaves, toaster ovens, refrigerators, and those kinds of things. And at the time, I was very fortunate to meet socially someone that was tied into the Samsung family, 2 levels down. A very young family member, as you may know. Samsung is largely still family owned today, and it's a huge organization consisting of many different types of businesses, including construction and many other things. So Samsung at the time, this person shared with me, was Samsung wanted to be more of how do I say it? How did it be more of like a company like what at the time was represented by Sony? Sony at the time was a fantastic company. It was seen as cutting edge. It was seen as having some of the best products, and people were really looking at Sony as an example to live by. Yeah? And so Samsung, of course, was also interested to see what would it be like to become more like Sony, yeah, because that just seemed something to be striving for. So at the time, I was still a fairly new coach. I'd been coaching for a long time, but in terms of coaching organizations, it was a very different game. Yeah, and here I was. Coaching someone on the future of a very large organization like Samsung, which of course was a very interesting subject, and I've tackled it a specific way. I like to think in terms of frameworks. I like to think in terms of how things work and what makes it work. Right? Albert Einstein once said that genius is making complicated things simple. So I was looking to see how can I make this simple. What is it that makes Sony work? What is it that makes Sony, and then really take it from there. Such that it can become now obvious of what it's going to take for Samsung to become more like Sony. And now it's the end of 2012. And we all know where Sony is today, and we all know where Samsung is today. Samsung today is making billions and billions of dollars, while Sony is losing billions and billions of dollars, right? So it's always a good idea to look into what is it that makes my competitor tick, and maybe how can I learn from that? How can I make the most out of that learning, just seeing what my competitor does. So what we took was a look at Sony from a very different perspective, because if you keep looking at things the way you've always looked at them, you're going to see what you've always seen. So what's a new perspective that we could possibly take here with Samsung in comparison to Sony? And so I decided maybe it would be nice to look at the perspective of the customer. The customer, what's the customer wanting? What does the customer want out of what they're buying? So Sony customers, they were a very specific tribe. There was a tribe following of Sony. People that bought Sony, they kept on buying other Sony products. It's like, if you bought Sony, you were someone special. Right? You're like, there was something special about you because there's something special about Sony. It's like the brand carried over, or it spilled over onto you as a person. Yeah. So there's a thing called the emotional needs that we have as human beings. Yeah, that help us decide what we want and what we don't want. Now, there's always, things like what are the benefits of buying a certain product, what are the characteristics of this product, what are the specifics of the product. But that's what informs us. But in the end, that's not what helps us make a decision. What helps us make a decision is how we feel about something. Many times, just hit a pothole there. Many times, I see that companies are really just focusing on what do we need to do such that we can have a certain result. But the world is not all about doing. After all, we're not human doings. We're human beings. And as human beings, we have feelings. And too many organizations, maybe mostly all organizations, forget that as human beings, we make decisions by how we feel. Yeah, we are completely and utterly influenced by our emotions. And because of that, they might miss the point, or many will actually miss the point completely. Yeah, because looking at what we're doing rather than how we're feeling, that would make a difference. By the way, I'm here in Manila traffic in the heart of EDSA, and it's an interesting ride, and this is my first time I do a video while I'm driving. So what we did was we look at emotional needs that customers have. So in general there's only 6 basic human emotional needs. Those 6 are a love and connection, like how do I like the people I'm with, how do they like me. Then the next one is certainty, how certain am I, how safe do I feel, how well taken care of do I feel, and so forth. And then thirdly, there's significance, how special do I get to feel. And fourth is variety, like is it always the same thing, or do I get to see something different for a change? So these are the first 4: love and connection, certainty, variety, and significance. The first 4, if you just look at the first 4, then you'll see that's what makes people happy. By the way, we all have all 6 of the human needs, right? But we have them at different degrees, and varying degrees. The last 2 human needs are, and these are what gives us fulfillment as human beings. The last 2 are growth, like am I learning something from it, and the very last one is contribution, making a difference. So what has SONY be successful? When you look at SONY, what had SONY be successful is when you bought SONY, you really felt like you're something special, right? You're special because SONY was special, and that translated onto you. It's kind of what Apple is doing these days. The other thing is the quality of the product was superb, right? Maybe it wasn't the very top, but it was definitely excellent. So you had already 2 of the needs fulfilled. I was feeling significant, and I was feeling certain that this was a good product, right? Then, is there any love and connection? Yeah, because as a SONY owner, I get to connect with other SONY owners, and we have something alike. And it also contributes back to even more significance, because now I am part of this elite group of people who own SONY products. Yes, it's very bumpy here right now. So these are the 3 that are mainly contributing to people buying SONY products. Now we wanted to see how can we just now translate this onto Samsung. And Samsung was basically already fulfilling some of that, because Samsung basically was building a quality product, a high quality product. However, the design was not such that people could actually feel good about themselves, or maybe feel different, that they're special. Yeah. And there was also not yet a sort of a Samsung community that once once they bought Samsung, they would continue to buy Samsung. So we started looking at that, and we said, you know, do you even yourself own your own products, your own Samsung? And they were admitting that no, this wasn't happening, and that they were buying these very high-end products. So I said, what would it take such that you would now buy and own and operate your own products? You know, oh, well, they would have to definitely be very special and very significant. I go, yes, and that's what other people also want to have, not just you. You know, customers also want that. And a big light bulb went on, and that year, Samsung hired something like 400 or 500 designers to improve the design of their products, which was a significant shift. Then also increased their R&D to build more products that were then upmarket, you know, high-end products. You know? So that's the secret behind what made Samsung the Samsung that it is today, because it was born out of seeing themselves from a different perspective, the perspective of the feelings that human beings bring to the marketplace, you know, and to buying the product. What exactly are those human emotional needs that drive those buying decisions? Okay, so that's Bjorn Martinov from Southeast Asia, and I appreciate your time. Have a great day.